I've got a really weird relationship with money to this day. It's an unhealthy fear of poverty. It just felt like there was never money.
Dom Harvey, one of Aotearoa's most recognisable voices. From dominating the airwaves on The Edge, to writing bestsellers, to now hosting an award-winning podcast, Dom's never been afraid to evolve. It's real talk on podcasting, purpose, and backing yourself when the path changes.
Radio is what I wanted to do from intermediate age. I only ever worked at 2 radio stations in my entire career. It was like 11 years at Palmerston North at 2XS and then like 20 years at The Edge. I had my car like packed with boxes and I was moving up to Hamilton to start work at The Edge. And I remember leaving, there's like a welcome to Palmerston North sign. So just driving past the back of that as I was exiting Palmerston North. I was sitting in my car and I just started crying. It's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You're just leaving the most massive comfort zone imaginable. I swore to myself then that I'd never stay in one job for that long ever again. And next minute.
What would you say to someone who is wanting to start their own podcast? This podcast is brought to you by Ethos Mortgages. If you're looking to buy your first home, next home, or even an investment property, make sure you reach out to Ethos Mortgages at ethosmortgages.co.nz. We'll have a link below as well. Just a quick note, this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. If you need financial advice, please make sure you contact a financial advisor to get professional advice. Dom Harvey, welcome to the Fresh Money Podcast.
Feels like I'm looking at a mirror.
We colour coordinated today.
We're wearing the same outfits.
We're just in the one mind and kind of one spirit, so the podcasting spirit, whatever that is.
Willie, thank you so much for having me on the Fresh Money Podcast. It's an honour, mate. I know you haven't been in the podcast very long, but you've done so much in the time that you've been in the space, and it's an honour.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I was saying to JJ before that, I'm nervous because you are the man, in my view, and you're a humble guy. And so you are the man. Like, I've listened to hundreds of your podcasts and always admired I suppose the craft and the art form. And I've, when I was doing my research into podcasting, your podcast was one of the ones I'd tried to research and kind of go, oh, cool, how I could do something of that and into the flavour that I have here at Fresh Money. So,
mate, that means so much because I'll tell you what. Are you familiar with imposter syndrome?
Yes.
Yeah, like I have moments where it's like I feel like I'm going to be caught out and I'm making it up as I go along, and it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. But in a way, I think it can potentially be a superpower because it just forces me to keep working hard and striving for the next thing. But thank you for those kind words. That's that means a lot.
Cool. How does it feel to be on the other side?
It's weird. It's strange. It's good in a way because I don't have to do any like preparation. You're just going to throw questions at me and I have to answer. It's your job to worry about the structure of it and the questions and making sure you hit all the targets you want. So it's quite relaxing in that way. But then you're such a good dude and I love your podcast. So I don't want to let you down. So I want to give as good answers as what I can do. I don't want a situation where I'm driving home later today and I'm like, shit, that was a bad answer. I should have said this instead, or I should have said this.
I'm sure you won't do that. So, relax, chill. You're on Fresh Money. We're pretty chilled here, so just relax. But like I suppose your career, your life has been really quite public, and you're very open. And a lot of people know about your life. But I'd like to go. Before you became a broadcaster, whereabouts did you grow up? Where are you from?
Always sort of like central lower North Island. So I was born in Levin, spent 4 years there, which I remember very little of.
Okay.
Then moved to Hastings for a few years and then to Palmerston North, and that was at Roots down in Palmerston North. I stayed in Palmerston North till I was about 30 and yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Funnily enough, maybe that's why we're colour coded. I'm from Palmy.
Are you? Yeah. No way.
I was born and raised there.
What the hell?
Yeah. There we go.
Did you go to school there?
Yep.
What school?
I was Palmy Boys.
Yeah. No way. What years?
96 to 2000.
Oh, we almost overlapped. I was 86 to 90.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
What school were you at?
Palmy Boys.
Oh my goodness.
What was your house?
I don't want to say.
Can I have a guess? Vernon.
Yep. How did you guess that?
There was a 1 in 5 chance.
That's crazy.
1 in 5 chance. You weren't Murray because you're not a boarder.
No.
So there's like 1 in 5 chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole, because they do the family system there. So I had relatives that were in that club before me, and then they said, "Oh, do you have relatives? You're in there." Yeah.
This because I've got a conflicted relationship with that school because it's a strange school in the respect that like unless you're really really good at sport, you're kind of just a nobody. You kind of just go through it, and you kind of. I don't know. But I had a podcast last week with Detective Inspector Scott Baird, one of New Zealand's most decorated cops. And he went to Palmy Boys High in the 70s.
Whoa.
And the conversation that you and I just had about houses, and I had the same conversation with him. I've had another DM going on with Ruben Love, who's an up-and-coming rugby player for the All Blacks and the Hurricanes. He's a lot younger than me. He went to Boys High as well. And it's as I get older, I appreciate the fact that there's this sort of history with the school. And, if you meet someone else that went to that school, whether they're like 90 or 20, you can have the same conversation about marching or...
Marching. I didn't know that was a thing until we got taught how to march in third form or year 9. I was like, why are we doing this?
But it's kind of cool that in the year 2025 it's still going on.
Yeah.
They've still got kids in the school that are like marching for points for their house in the summer sports.
Yeah. So what were your memories of growing up in Palmy?
They're quite good memories. Probably because it's a different time. Like it was sort of time in the 80s. We lived in a cul-de-sac. It was like a housing subdivision where there were still lots of empty plots around. Mum would just tell us to go outside and play. Like
nice.
there were 4 kids. There was so we'd get home from school, sit down and watch TV, and then she'd be like, get outside and play, and almost like lock the door.
Oh, true.
So you'd just be roaming the streets with the other neighbours or your brothers and sisters, and
cool.
So good memories. Good memories, I think.
Cool. And growing up, did Mum talk about money a lot, or did you see money, or what was your relationship with money growing up?
Well, I've got a really weird relationship with money to this day.
Yep.
I think it's an unhealthy obsession, or maybe not an obsession, but definitely a fear of poverty, and I think that stems from my upbringing. And I look back now, and I think we were just a very, very standard middle class, like Pākehā New Zealand family. Like it was always a 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom house, which sounds povo by today's standards, but I think back then it was fairly common. So me and my brother always shared a bedroom. My 2 sisters shared a bedroom, and Mum and Dad had a bedroom. But it just felt like there was never money, Yeah. I don't know, but I look back now and it's like, well, I think we were just fairly standard for the time. Like,
so you had kind of everything you needed, I suppose?
Shitty food. It was always like schnitzel and chops and
mince,
casseroles and things. But it just felt like there was never money. But I felt like we were I was the last kid in my class to be in a house that had a microwave or a VHS. But I look back now and I think everyone probably felt the same way. Yeah. Everyone felt like everyone else had these things that they didn't have.
True. And like I remember I grew up listening to Mike West and Baldrick on 92.2 XSFM. That is what I had in my mind in my kind of youth. Is that where it all started for you? Or was it?
Yeah. So Baldrick was my radio name.
Yes.
So radio is what I wanted to do from probably intermediate age.
Really?
Initially I think I wanted to be in the Navy because I had some uncles that were in the Navy. And then I found out you had to be good at maths. So I changed my career path. We had like a school visit to the local radio station, which was called 2XS FM. And the announcer on here was sitting in the studio smoking on a ciggy. He had like a singlet on and some Canterbury shorts. And my perception of work up until that point was what I got from Dad, which was putting a suit on every morning, being miserable about going to work, being grumpy when he got home. Wow. And I sort of thought, well, that's what adulting is. You get a job that you hate and you white knuckle it through life. Yeah. And then I saw this old mate at the radio station like chugging on a durry, and I thought, oh, this looks like a fun job. Different. Yeah. So from there, the seed was planted about getting into radio, and then I managed to do through the Palmerston North Boys High sort of like work transition or work experience subject. I managed to go into that radio station, 2XS FM, for like 1 day per week.
Oh, wow.
And they just had me like basically, just doing menial tasks, tidying up in bits and pieces. And then a job eventually came up midway through my final year of school, and they chucked me on the air as the midnight to 6 a.m. guy, and yeah, that was sort of where my career started. Yeah, I stayed at that station for like 11, 12 years.
Wow. Like, honestly, that is the only station I listened to growing up.
I'm so pleased you remember. I tell people I was a big deal in Palmerston North.
Yeah.
I was
like that's Mike Weston Baldrick, 92.2 XSFM. I don't even know what those numbers and letters mean.
Yeah. But that was cool. And so Mike West, he was like a big deal. He retired. Yep. He was actually on that same station till about a year ago.
Oh,
he was there like 30-something years. He was so good to me. I sort of cut my teeth in radio under him, and he was like sort of like a mentor or a teacher. Cool. And I was like his apprentice. But yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, cool. And I'm
so pleased you remember.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was such a good show. Such a good show. And where did you go from there? Was it to the Edge?
Yeah, I only ever worked at 2 radio stations in my entire career. So it was like 11 years at Palmerston North at 2XS, and then like 20 years at the Edge. And it's quite funny. I remember 'cause I loved working with Mike so much, and I loved Palmerston North so much, and I would have been maybe about 30-ish when I left. And leaving was I remember like it was an emotional week when I left, because there'd been some farewell shows on the air. Yep. There was a farewell party.
Yeah,
and then
I remember that.
Yeah, and then I had my car like packed with boxes and stuff, and I was moving up to Hamilton to start work at the Edge. And I remember leaving. There's like a welcome to Palmerston North sign. So just driving past the back of that as I was exiting Palmerston North. And I was sitting in my car and I just started crying.
Oh,
it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Because it's you're just leaving the most massive comfort zone imaginable. But it was really good. Yeah. And I swore to myself then that I'd never stay in one job or doing the same thing for that long ever again. And next minute.
So is that when you went to the Edge? Yes. Is that right?
Yeah, and I was there for like 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it was that's where was it when you kind of became more well known?
Of course, yeah. Because 2XS was just a Palmerston North only station.
Gotcha.
So you're sort of like a big fish in a small pond, I guess. And then the Edge is like a nationwide radio station. But if you do any sort of radio job for 20 years, you're going to develop some connections, I guess.
And so, like, a lot of people know your journey through the Edge, and now you're one of the biggest podcasts in New Zealand, if not the biggest. How did you transition and journey out of radio to podcasting?
Well, just sort of, I felt like it just reached the end of a journey. I said before, like after leaving Palmerston, I swore I'd never stay in anything that long again. I don't know, if you're enjoying what you're doing and you're with a good team, the time just goes.
Yeah.
And I think, like on reflection now, like looking back, having left like 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of staying in that job for too long is probably fear in a way, I think.
Yeah.
Also comfortable, because the money in radio is generally quite appalling. But if you're good enough and you're doing it for long enough, the money gets quite good.
I see.
So I think it was fear, like a lot of fear of not being good at doing anything else, fear of not being able to do anything else, fear of making the same money doing anything else.
Yeah. Wow.
And on reflection now, after looking back after doing the podcast for a few years, like it was probably at the expense of my own personal growth.
Gotcha.
Because I don't know, it's a strange feeling.
Is it?
You just feel like you're not going to be good enough at anything else.
Okay. in a way, staying rewards what you're currently doing, right? Because you've got there's a salary that comes in fortnightly. It's regular. You don't have that pressure of having to go and get your own money. Like it is just locked in.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrifying. And you got to remember. So by the time I finished at the Edge, I'd been doing radio all up for 30 years. So I was getting paid very good money, but it had been like so much work leading up to that, like 30 years. So then you start a podcast from scratch, and naturally, like there was hardly any money in the first year. It's starting to show some good green shoots now, but it's
great.
Yeah, it's scary doing something new.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. I say to people now that are like friends of mine that are still on radio that say to me, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. I'm like, look, the best time to do it is right now while you've still got a salary coming in. Yeah. Because you have to, if you're starting like any sort of side hustle, not just a podcast, but anything, I think, you've got to go through that growth period. Yeah. Hey, and the best time to do that is while you're still in full-time employment. If someone else is paying you, do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it during your work hours.
It keeps the stress off the kind of every day-to-day bills, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What made you push through the fear and leave and start the podcast? I
think to push through the fear, I think see, in the first year, I'd describe the podcast as a hobby because it wasn't making much money. Yeah. And at some point, you go, right, when does this stop becoming a hobby and start becoming, like a career? In those times, in that first year in particular, I think what kept me going was probably like DMs from people and messages you get. So you're like, okay, the money side of the puzzle isn't there yet, but I feel like I'm onto something here.
Cool.
Just from the messages you get and the connection you're making with people, that made me think, okay, onto something here.
Yeah. So there are clues that pop up and in forms of encouragement that you're on the right track.
100%. So it's like I'm not sure where this is going.
Yes.
It's like steering a ship in the dark. I'm not sure where this is going, but all these messages and signs tell me it's going in the right direction.
Yeah. What is after starting Fresh Money, I can see the amount of work and effort required to begin a podcast.
Yeah.
And especially, you guys putting out this, this amazing product in your podcast. What would you say to someone who is wanting to start their own podcast?
Like anything, you got to be prepared to work hard and put the work in. And like anything, you get out what you put in. There's this thing you've probably read articles about this. It's a thing called podcast fatigue, and most people start a podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
They end up like winding up within like 7 episodes or something because I suppose they realise how much work's involved. They realise maybe they're not going to be an overnight success. It's coming out of their own pocket. But you just have to. It's like anything. Anything that's worthwhile in life is worth putting 100% effort into and sticking with.
Yeah, so true. You've interviewed some incredible people. It's probably tricky to ask you or for you to answer, but who are some of the most memorable guests that you've had on your podcast?
Mate. It's so hard. I counted them. I've never been like an episode counter, but I did that the other week just so we can start recognizing where we're at. And it's like 223 episodes now. And I definitely have a thing called recency bias. So someone that I've had on the podcast recently is sort of top of mind. Gotcha. So a couple of days before we're doing this episode of Fresh Money, I had Honey Hidemi Smiler on.
Oh, wow.
Like New Zealand sporting royalty, like played rugby and league and sevens and nines for New Zealand. So, she's amazing, but again, it's the recency thing. But there's just been so many good ones, eh? And you have lessons from all of them. And sometimes I'll be having a conversation with someone and then it's like, something will just spring into my mind, like from, say, like Dame Lisa Carrington about something she said that's applicable. But one of the big ones I think that will always be quite dear to my heart is I'd only been going like 4 or 5 months, and I was going down to Christchurch to record a bunch of episodes.
Oh, nice.
So I reached out to Zach Guildford, former All Black.
Oh, wow.
Played in the 2011 Rugby World Cup.
A winger.
Yeah, really good winger. Yeah. And at the time he was on home detention because he'd he had lots of like addiction issues, like gambling and alcohol and drugs, and he was on home detention after he stole some money off his own grandfather to fund his gambling habit. And I thought, this is a long shot, but I reached out to him. I said, I'm coming down to Christchurch. Would you be keen to do a podcast? And he agreed. And he was so open and honest and raw, just about really, really crunchy, embarrassing stuff too. Like, it wasn't just reflecting on his glory days of being in the All Black. Like the dude was on home detention at the time. And that was sort of like, for me, that was like a pivotal moment in the podcast. Like it got a bit of external media coverage. And it just made me realize the impact that you could have with some of these conversations. Yep. So for me, that will always be a special one. The fact that he agreed to come on the podcast early on and was so open. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think, what you said before about learning, like I am learning so much and doing this podcast, like especially, from yourself and the team here at the Pod Lab. I'm just absorbing all of this information from you, and I just had Francis Cook on before. I'm learning and learning and learning, and I think that's probably one of the gifts that it gives back to you when you're trying to get your message out there. Is like, for me, it's just like, man, I'm learning so much about this industry.
And having come from like a radio background, this is something that I'm loving about it. Like it's such an inclusive and supportive space. The radio industry, and I haven't been in it for like 4 or 5 years, so it may have changed, but I can't see how it would have. But it always had like a scarcity mindset. So if you're working at the edge, it's like, if you meet someone that listens to ZM, it's like they're the enemy.
Like really?
It's like that competitive. Or if you're on the air, say you're on The Rock and Harvey has an interview with Dave Grohl, it's like, what the fuck? How did they get that? So whereas in podcasting, I feel like it's way more inclusive and supportive. Like everyone wants to give everyone a hand up.
Yep.
And I hope that doesn't change as it becomes more, competitive or I don't know.
Yeah.
So I love that about what we're doing now.
Yeah, that's definitely what I've found. Because I'm not from, as you can tell, my broadcasting skills need polishing. I don't have the experience of seeing what's behind the broadcasting from what I normally see from the front.
Just what comes out the speakers.
And I don't see the politics or anything from behind. I'm just learning about it all, going, I see.
It's a dogfight out there. Hey, by the way, you're doing really good as an interviewer.
Oh, thank you.
I genuinely mean that. So you've got no broadcasting experience, eh?
No.
No. I think if just by being authentic. And also like working hard, doing the preparation and putting thought into how you do it. It's amazing how far you get. And you'll just get exponentially better with each podcast you do.
Yeah, I listened to my first one the other day and I was like, ooh, dang. Yeah, I am. It was good because I was like, oh, actually, I can see where I've come. Yeah.
Because how many episodes now?
This will be 18.
Right.
18 podcasts. So.
Yeah, see, in the early stages, the growth is just... mind-blowing, eh? And then it gets less and less. But you'll look back on this in 6 months from now and you'll probably be embarrassed about this episode.
Probably.
Which is, I think that's good because it means you're growing.
Yeah. Where do you see the podcast industry growing?
Oh man, people make jokes about it, eh? Already, like the last thing the world needs is another podcast sort of thing. But I think it's just I don't know. No one says that about Instagram, like, I don't have an Instagram page. I'm not going to set one up. The last thing the world needs is another Instagram page.
True.
I feel like podcasting is sort of going to become like that. So it's going to be less and less people that are trying to be the next Joe Rogan or Call Her Daddy or Diary of a CEO, more business-to-business podcasts and people that are just happy to have a podcast that's got maybe a smaller audience, but a small audience of like listeners that are like appropriate and valuable for their business or their field of expertise.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Where do you see it going?
Like I had read the NZME financials. I'm one of those guys that doesn't look like he read financial statements, but yeah, I do. and their revenue for podcasts for the 2024 year was an increase of 67%.
Wow.
and if they're measuring, and they're the big media company out there, and if they're measuring, if they're watching, I would suggest that they've done a lot more research than I've done, and I would say that this pod is in New Zealand, only getting started, I would say, and obviously you're one of the first movers,
Yeah. Well, as someone that's her entire career has been in the radio side of things, like it just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like I say to people that talk to me, like mainly older people that don't sort of understand about podcasting. The way I explain it is like radio is sort of like free to air TV, and podcasting is sort of like streaming services like Neon or Netflix or Disney. So you can listen to whatever you want exactly when you want.
Yes.
Yeah. So from a business perspective, it makes so much more sense.
Yeah, big time. And tell me about the Pod Lab and what you guys are doing here.
Well, this is Pod Lab. This is a career pivot that I never saw coming. I'm 52, JJ's 51. I was doing my podcast at home for like 2.5 years, and this space came available to rent. So the studio we're sitting in, it was built originally by Red Bull when they were creating content. Then they moved out and 660 had it as their rehearsal space for a while. So the lease came up. I was looking for a place so I could move out of my spare bedroom at home, which was, by the way, a perfectly functional studio. It was fine. And I said to JJ, fuck, the timing's not right, but this space would be amazing. Yeah. And she was like, well, I'm ready to quit my job at More FM, so let's get the lease and start up a business. Wow. Yeah, so the idea was that it was a space where I could do my podcast and other people like you could rent the space and do your podcast as well.
No, it's an amazing space. Tell me about these cameras that you have.
No, I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to. They cost so much money. We've got a client that comes in. He's a real estate agent, and we went out for some drinks with him last week. And he's like, "Hey, mate, as someone that's done sales his whole life, I need to tell you, stop banging on about the cameras. No one cares." But they cost me like $15,000. I'm so proud of every little aspect of it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
But apparently, like, I don't know the specs, and they are the flashiest cameras out there, right? They move by themselves. No, they don't move by themselves, but they can be controlled.
So through a window out there, we've got a studio manager, Jackson. Yes. So he could be zooming in on my face right now. I don't know. Is he zooming in on my face right now?
He could be. Hopefully.
No one needs that. No, it's cool. We're really proud of the space. I never thought I'd be like my own boss at the age of 52. And we've been in business like 7 or 8 months now.
Wow.
Not making enough money to pay ourselves yet. But I mean, the early growth signs are good, and I'm pretty sure like we're going to get there. And there's definitely a market for this sort of thing. Yeah. So I feel really good about it. I feel really optimistic about the future.
Awesome. And how many podcasts or different podcasts do you have coming through at the moment? Like, I've obviously bumped into a few today.
Yeah. Today's a busy day. Yeah. I don't know. I want to say maybe 15, maybe like 15 different podcasts that are coming in there. All sorts of different ones too. Things that you would never have heard of or necessarily expect. Lots of like B2B, business to business ones. There's a couple of like independent creators that, have just had the courage to decide, I want to have a go at this, and they're doing it. Because I think a lot of people probably think, I've got a podcast in me, but then, you worry. I don't know if this is a Kiwi thing, but I think we worry. You worry so much about what other people think. Yep. Are other people going to laugh at me? What if it fails? There's all these what ifs. So anyone that has come in here that's like not a business, that's doing it as an individual thing and they're paying it for themselves, I just have the maddest respect, And the team here, Jackson, Jazz, JJ and myself, like we do what we can to uplift and support these people because, anyone that's got the courage to do that, I think they should be applauded.
Yeah. No, honestly, since, recording a couple of episodes the other month, you guys have been amazing. Super welcoming. friendly, kind. You guys have been super cool. So,
well, how could you not want to help you? Like you're the greatest. You're so great. I felt so bad. Like you arrived, you flew in from Christchurch to Auckland this morning, and it's an overcast day, slightly drizzly in Auckland, and you were waiting outside the door.
No, for 10 seconds. Okay. It was 10 seconds. It was fine.
But anyway, when we're finished here today, I'm going to give you a ride back to the airport.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's part of the service. No, it's not part of the normal service.
Oh no, but we appreciate you like coming to Auckland and making the effort, and I'm sure the podcast isn't washing its own face yet in terms of the money. So the fact that you're sticking with it, like we want to encourage you to stick with it and help this thing grow.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Thank you. If you're serious about buying your first home, make sure you check out the First Home Buyers Masterclass. In this masterclass, we take you through the whole home buying journey, from getting pre-approved, finding your property, to settling. This will take out a lot of the confusion and make your home buying journey a lot easier. Make sure you check out the link below for our masterclass. So what's it like working with JJ?
Terrible. Terrible. No, she's
because obviously you have history, and you're back together. And from what I can see, it works really, really well.
Yeah, we have the most fantastic working relationship and understanding. It just works. There's never any trouble. We never sort of butt heads about things. There's no ego in it.
Cool.
I think part of that is probably because we're both on the same page where it comes to the not negotiables, the things that are important with us.
Yeah.
Like obviously no one's in business to lose money, but above and beyond that, we just want to uplift people and help people do the best they can with their podcast.
Yeah, cool.
Do
you guys have set roles and stuff like that, or?
No, we haven't had to sort of discuss that. It's good. Like JJ knows that I'm quite busy doing stuff with my own podcast, so she does a lot of it. She said it the other day, just sitting at her desk, just the other day, just out of the blue, no one asked her any questions, no one was talking to her. She just said out loud, "I love admin."
Really?
When have you heard anyone ever in the history of the English language say "I love admin"?
I don't think anyone says that. No. It's not a saying.
It's not a thing. It's not a slogan. And I don't mind admin, but I'm just terrible at it. There's things that I don't know if it's undiagnosed ADHD or what it is, but my brain just doesn't have the ability to work out certain things. Yeah. But anyway, we've both got strengths and weaknesses, cool. And the relationship just works out really well. Awesome. And I shouldn't speak on behalf of her, but I think it's fair to say we're both exceedingly happy with how things are going.
Cool. No, I can definitely see that. Yeah. So no, it's really cool. In terms of the podcast, the Pod Lab, where do you see it growing? Or where do you see it going? Yeah. Oh
man, the dream would be the dream would be within a few years to have Pod Lab branches around the country, a bigger space with more studios. We just want to encourage as many people as possible to give it a go. And I feel like that. Yeah, it's hard to know the way because it's we don't know where this space is going to go.
Yep.
In terms of the podcasting space, but I feel like it's still in the infancy stages at the moment. When I launched mine 3 years ago, I thought it was a congested market at that point. So there is still so much more room to grow.
Yeah,
and we just want to be involved in that.
Yeah, cool. In relation to your podcast, what do you think you need to have a good podcast?
Something you're passionate about, I think, is really, really important. Because, as we discussed earlier, especially in the early stages, you're going to go through those growing pains.
Yep.
There's going to be times where you're like, why am I doing this? It's not paying me any money. Hardly anyone's listening to it. It's coming out of my own pocket. But if you're passionate about it, you're more likely to stick at it.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, if you can treat it like a hobby early on, people play golf, right? They pay a lot of money for golf membership, a lot of money for golf clubs. They lose balls. You got to spend money to buy more balls.
Yeah.
But you don't mind it because you enjoy it. It's a hobby, and it's never going to pay its own way. So I think that would be the key thing. Find something that you're passionate about because you're more likely to stick at that.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to be rich overnight, you're you're probably delusional in that aspect. Yeah, we've had we've had so many people that come in here wanting to do podcasts.
Oh, really?
They'll have an idea, and then they'll say, I want to find a sponsor, and then once I've got a sponsor, I'll have the money so I can start making it. And we say to these people, look, you might be a unicorn, like you might be lucky.
Yes.
But you probably won't be because you're trying to sell something that doesn't even exist yet and is unproven. I mean, if your name's Richie McCaw, you could probably find someone to sponsor your podcast before it even exists because you're Richie McCaw.
Yeah, you already have that authority and presence. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for most of us, you're going to need to work, build something. Create it and make it a success before anyone is interested in giving you any money for it.
What inspires you to do your podcast?
The DMs that I talked about before, that definitely keeps me going. Cool. Yeah, that's the fuel that keeps you going.
Yes.
And just enjoying it, I think, and loving it. Feeling like I'm making a difference. And also after being in radio for 30 years and, to a degree being told what to do and, it's nice to be able to do exactly what you want and follow your own nose. So whether it succeeds or fails, it's on me.
Yeah, true.
There's something really empowering about that.
Yeah, there is, eh? It's like I suppose it's freedom in a way, isn't it? Because when you come out of, corporate, you're told when to turn up, how to do everything. There is a formula.
Yeah.
It's a proven formula.
Yeah.
But you're told everything, and you don't have that, I suppose, the freedom to create, you do your own thing, whereas, you've got the keys to the car now and you get to, creatively, you get to do whatever you want to, in a way.
Yeah, 100%, because it's there's episodes that I can put out. So my podcast is long form interviews. So there's episodes you put out that are going to be a hit. If I want to get a good numbers on an episode, I'll just tee up an ex All Black, and they always go off. So if it was. If I was still in one of the radio companies, they'd be like, get ex All Blacks every week, every damn week. That's what works. Keep doing it. But there's episodes that I know are really good and they're great stories from people that maybe are not that well known. It means a lot to me being able to give these people a platform and have a chat to these people, even if the download numbers aren't going to, set the world on fire.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to jump around a bit. Health is wealth. Mm-hmm. And you've been open about your health journey, including tumor operation. How did that kind of impact? Well, obviously it would have impacted your life, but what did it do for you in terms of the way you saw the world? Yeah.
At the time, nothing. It was water off a duck's back.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
Really?
So this was maybe 15 years ago. So I was in my mid-30s, and I still at that point thought I was invincible and bulletproof. It was so I've got this massive scar in my abdomen area because I had this massive tumour growing. It's a benign, not a cancerous one. It was a benign one, but it was just growing. And it happened so slowly over so many years. But it was to do with my adrenal glands. So I'd have a situation where I'd be in the car and if someone would pull out in front of me and I'd have to slam the brakes on. Then, no word of a lie, within 10 seconds I'd be just drenched in sweat, sweat suck, and I'd be shaking like this. And it was all because just a spike in adrenaline flooding my body. And then this tumour got taken out and I was back to normal again. It was I forgot what it feels like to be normal. Because this thing had been growing in me and it would have eventually killed me, but I didn't sort of recognise that at the time. But I look back now, often when you're going through these things, you don't realise the impact of them until you can look in the rearview mirror and realise the impact it had. And one thing that tumour took away from me was my fertility. So I was recovering in hospital after the tumour had been taken out, and the surgeon that took it out, he came in and he said, hey, there might be some complications with the operation we did where, your fertility could be affected, but it'll be all good. IVF's really good these days. And that set So what was then my problem became mine and JJ's problem.
Yes.
And it put us on this IVF treadmill, this fertility treadmill for, years and years and years, and numerous rounds of IVF, which were ultimately unsuccessful. So I look back now, and that humour had like a huge impact on my life.
Yeah, crazy.
And the direction that it took. So I suppose, glass half full. I survived and I'm lucky to be here, but glass half empty. Suddenly there's this, I suppose this vision you have of how your life's going to look, or the second half of your life's going to look. And for me, that was like children and, maybe one day grandchildren and stuff like that. And suddenly you have to like reassess everything. So it's like, okay,
exactly.
So, I've got a business.
Yeah.
No.
And how do you, I suppose, deal with that change of vision, I suppose, that you had?
Yeah, I don't know. Not very well. No, I don't know. I think,
because there's disappointment, but then there's like life vision changing, expectation disappointing.
Yeah, there's a lot, because it's like it's not the it's not the end of the world. Like there's a lot of people, and I know a lot of couples that have chosen not to have kids, but it's just when that's something you saw yourself having in your life and it's taken away. It's weird. But in saying that, life's fabulous now. It's great, and it allows us to do things like focus all our energy and attention onto a business like this. But yeah, I didn't realise at the time with the tumour that was going to be like one of the side effects, and it was pretty fucking big.
Yeah, no, it's massive. And you're a runner. What does running mean to you? Because is that what the podcast originally started off as?
So when I was about to launch, I went to this. So I saw this branding expert, and he was like, and we laugh about this now, like. He's like, bro, the podcast market is like so cluttered. You need a niche, like you need a really defined niche. And I was passionate about running, so I thought, I'll just talk to people about running. So it started as Runners Only with Dom Harvey.
Sense.
And then it sort of just like grew and evolved and expanded from there. But what was the question again?
What does running mean to
running.
you?
Oh, yeah. Mate, running means everything, eh? I've loved running for such a long time. That was actually how the tumour was discovered. Like I was training for the Auckland Marathon.
Oh, no way.
And then I had these moments in the training cycle for Auckland Marathon where if I tried to do some speed work or tried running up a hill, I'd end up like curled over on the side of the road, like vomiting, and I'd be grey in the face and unable to run any further. Sometimes I'd have to this is pre-Uber, so I'd have to like get my phone and call a taxi to get home. And this is so dumb. Like I was like 34 or 35 at the time. I just put it down to being older and not being able to push myself as hard as what I used to. Such an idiot. So meanwhile, this tumour was just like growing in me. So running's
because you think you can handle some pain, right?
Yeah, I just thought I was getting soft. Now I realise that. And then once it was taken out, I was running like pain-free again. It was like, oh, this is what it's all about. But running's given me so much. Like I love it, and I always knew it was good for my physical health and keeping my weight down, and would allow me to eat some food that otherwise I shouldn't be eating. It's probably only like the last 5 or 7 years that I've understood the mental health benefits that I get from it. 'Cause until my mid-40s, mental health is probably not something I even really thought about at all.
Well, it's not anything, we kind of grew up talking about, right?
Yeah. No, I guess so. But no, we didn't. We didn't.
Nah.
Not at all. There's even other words that get thrown around a lot these days, serotonin and dopamine, and they just weren't words that were in the day-to-day vocab. But I never realised it at the time, but I do realise it now with a greater understanding. The mental health benefits, I'll finish a run and I'll just feel great, like elated for hours afterwards.
Yeah, I know that when I don't work out or go for a walk, I'm like, I'm getting a bit twitchy, or
I'm the same.
I'm like, I need to do something. Okay, I need to go to the gym. I read an article where you ran a marathon to fundraise for someone's, was it cancer treatment?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is one of the coolest things I've ever been involved with in my life.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
This is when I was still at the Edge. There was this family that came on our radar called the Forbes family, and they had a daughter called Kawalani Forbes who was just very young at the time, and she'd had like cancer since she was very, very young. Like I think I want to say like 2 or 3 years old, and she'd had so much treatment. And then they found this experimental treatment in Barcelona that she could have, but it wasn't funded, and it was going to cost $250,000. So we had this idea to run 5 marathons in 5 days.
Yeah.
So Monday's marathon in Auckland, Tuesday's marathon in Christchurch, laps of Hagley Park, Wednesday in Wellington, Thursday in Hamilton, and Friday in Auckland again. And in the end, long story short, like we made like just the right amount. Wow. We were on like 200,000, and then ANZ Bank came in because coincidentally it was the week of Daffodil Day, so they came through with the last 50k.
Oh, amazing!
So this family got to go to Barcelona. Their daughter got the treatment, and there was no guarantees it was going to be worthwhile or a complete waste of money. But it turns out it was worthwhile, and she's still alive. She must be. Gosh, she's probably just at college now, actually.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 12 or 13 now. And there's still like ongoing complications because, poor little thing, she's had so many surgeries. But yeah, she's still alive.
That's insane.
And it was one of the coolest things I've ever been involved with, Like just the amount of people we met that week and just the amount of great New Zealanders out there.
Wow, willing to help and support. And 5 marathons.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was. It's funny because it is tough. So a marathon's 42 kilometers.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of running.
Because I used to. I think it was in the weekend we had the Christchurch marathon. I just seen all these people. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so far.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, it's a long way. But I woke up on so got day 5 done, and I was so relieved it was over. Woke up on Saturday morning, and I thought, could I run another marathon today? Could I have done 6? And the answer I came up with in my mind is probably yes. But in saying that, I was sure as shit glad I didn't have to. I was pleased to get it done. But it's amazing what the, how powerful the human mind is. Like if the why is great enough, you can usually find a how. So if I was just going to do it like as a lockdown thing, just for shits and giggles, like try and run a marathon every day for 5 days, no way could I do it because I'd get bored or my heart wouldn't be in it. But if the why is great enough, like to help Kawalani Forbes get her cancer treatment in Barcelona, then you'll figure out a way how to do it.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. Let's talk personal finance. I know it's one of your favourite subjects.
I don't mind talking about it. I'm okay with it. I'm just embarrassed about my own relationship with money. Really, like, as I mentioned before, like I think it stems from our upbringing. Like, we were always led to believe we were poor, and then I look back now, like Dad invested in the share market. Like I know it's easy now with apps like Sharesies, but back then it was difficult. You needed a broker and stuff. And then so I went from thinking we were poor to thinking we were really poor, like after the 1987 stock market crash.
Yeah.
And we were broke. But there were days like leading up to that where Dad would come home from work and he'd be in a good mood and he'd be like, "We're going to Fisherman's Table for tea," because it had been a good day on the stocks. And I look back now and it's like, it's fake money. Like it's on paper.
It is.
So you haven't actually made any money or lost any money until you lock them in and sell. So we were going out having the seafood basket.
So it's kind of like in your mind happiness,
right?
It
is psychological, 100%.
Wow,
yeah.
Interesting. So how has that, I suppose, formative years of that money, I suppose, mindset or concept, how does that roll out to you now in your behaviours? Do you feel like you're good with money?
I think I'm reasonably careful with money. Yeah. I've had a few friends that haven't been lucky enough to make it to like my age, I'm 52. So I'm also mindful of like not putting everything away for a future that may not arrive.
Yeah.
So I'm very mindful.
True.
I like to. I call it like $1 each way. Like I'm saving for my retirement, thinking about the future, but
That's
also
right. Because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. So I do want to enjoy experiences now rather than just waiting for a retirement. There's nothing sadder, right? There's someone that works their entire life, works their ass off, raises a family, puts all the money aside, and then drops dead of a heart attack on their 65th birthday. Yeah. Like it's a tragedy.
So true.
So yeah, I like to live a good life. But also I'm mindful of the future.
Yeah, because I think it's really really good to look after your money, be careful with it, invest it, but at the same time you have to enjoy the fruit of your hard work, fruit of the labor, and spend it according to your values, right?
Yeah,
like you were saying, like I still want to have a good time.
Yeah. I suppose I'm lucky in a way. Like I'm not overly flashy. Like I'm quite a simple guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you made any key money mistakes?
I should have sold all my shares before Trump got into it. No. What money? Many. But there is one that springs to mind. So just at the beginning of the sort of COVID pandemic, there's a mate of mine, and he told me about an Australian company called Antiotech, and they made rat tests.
Huh?
And the shares had been going up and up and up. He said, "Hey mate, if these guys get like government approval in Australia, like it's going to go crazy."
Yeah.
So I put like $10,000 on it. It made sense, like a rat test company. And then,
sounds like a good business.
It didn't get government approval, and the $10,000. Like I woke up the next morning, it was like 800. Like it went like down like 92% or something overnight.
Whoa!
It was crazy, and it was a good. I don't know why, but it's like I threw every sort of common sense rule out of the window. Like the Warren Buffett from Berkshire Hathaway, he's got like a policy, he only invests in things that he understands.
Yep.
So a lot of his stocks and things that he uses on a daily basis, like Gillette or McDonald's or Coca-Cola or whatever.
Yep.
So, and I don't know why I suddenly took investing advice from my mate Sean in Hamilton.
He's proven he's a legitimate financial advisor.
Yeah. So that's a money mistake, but it's also like I suppose, cutting myself some slack. Like I only put in money that I could afford to spend at that time.
Yes, nice.
So,
you weren't going to bet the house on it type thing.
No, absolutely not. And actually, so the money stayed in Antiotech for a long time, and it didn't do anything. Eventually, I got bored and I sold out at a massive, massive loss. But I put the money into Rocket Lab, and that's gone all right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. What advice would you give your younger self regarding money?
Oh my God! Get into a KiwiSaver as soon as you can. Like compounding interest is.
Which one?
Generate have been they've been a sponsor of my podcast for like 18 months, and they've been fantastic. None of this is intended as financial advice. Do your own research, do your due diligence, but they've been great. And it's given me a greater understanding into KiwiSaver and how it works, because I think most people probably just go with the one their bank offers.
Yep.
I think I got signed up to AMP through work, and then you realise this is just like one sort of arm of their business. Whereas if you go with, say, like a Generate KiwiSaver, this is all they do. Yep. This is their core
specialise
business.
in that.
And I've got amazing advisors, so your money's going to be really, really safe, and you'll get a good return.
Nice.
Your kids or younger me, compounding interest. Like, I know in your 20s it seems like the most boring thing, putting away even $100 a week for your retirement. But compounding interest takes so long before you start to see the effects of it. Yep. And by the time you're my age, and it's going to come sooner than what you think, it'll really pay off. So get in early, and whatever you can spare, put it aside.
Yeah, it's so good. That's the funny thing about like building wealth. It is actually a kind of boring thing to do, because all it is the earlier you get in, like constant, regular investments into a KiwiSaver over time is how you build your wealth.
Yeah, it's boring. It's boring for like the first 20 years.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's how it works.
There it is. There it goes.
And then that's when your money will start working for you. So the sooner you get in, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Why? But you know what? You could have given me this advice. Or even,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have taken it. I would have thought, oh, shut up, old man. What do you know? I'm going to become a YouTuber.
Do you reckon that's what you would have said to yourself?
Yeah.
You went back in time
and
you saw yourself. You literally came and sat in this chair.
Yeah, if that happened, I would have. Yeah, okay, yeah. What does that old prick know? There's that saying.
I think I probably would have done the same thing, to be honest.
There's that saying that youth is wasted on the young, and it's true in a way. I wish I was smart. I was smart in a lot of other ways. Like I've never been like really driven by cars. Like I've never had a nice car in my life. Yeah. I bought my first house without any help from my parents or anything. Saved my own deposit and bought my own house at I think I was 22, just turned 22.
Awesome.
So I've always had smarts that way. But yeah, God, I wish I saved more for my retirement.
Yeah.
But when you're 20, I don't know. It just seems so far away.
Yeah. Crazy. I'm heading into my final questions. What is the vision for the Dom Harvey podcast?
This is the really difficult thing. Like it's hard to have a vision. It feels like we're at the front of this like podcasting wave at the moment, and when I say we, I mean you as well. And it's like there's no blueprint to where we're going.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like if you said to me 10 years ago, you'll leave radio and you'll be doing your own podcast and you'll be running a podcast business, I would have thought, how's that going to be possible? So in terms of as much as I love to plan, I'm simply unable to plan this. So I don't know where it's going to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. But one certainty that I know about life, if you keep putting one foot in front of the other and you work hard at something, like really hard at something, and you keep going in that direction, you'll be surprised at where it'll take you. But it's going to take you good places.
Yeah, awesome. And my final question that I ask all my guests is, what does wealth mean to you?
What does wealth mean to me? Probably means, I don't know. See, part of my mind's thinking, give it like a good, like a boring answer. I don't know. Probably having so many different answers you could give this, eh? And if you ask me this question every day for 10 days in a row, there's probably a different answer every day. I think it's probably having enough money that you can, first of all, that you don't have to worry about money. Yep. And secondly, that you've got choices to kind of, within reason, do what you want. Yeah. That's what wealth would mean. In terms of the financial sense, that's what wealth would mean to me. Yeah. And
in terms of the holistic sense?
Wealth, you got to be healthy, really. Healthy and happy. And you don't need any money to do that. Within reason you do, obviously medical checkups and healthy food and things. But health is the most important thing. It's probably something I've been guilty of over the years, like taking my good health for granted. But that's one thing I've got from my podcast and some of the amazing guests I've had, just how, if you have good health, you got to treasure that and nurture it, because it can't be taken for granted and it can be taken away.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Dom, thank you so much for coming on Fresh Money Podcast, and thank you for coming on my podcast while being in your studio. That makes sense, yeah.
It's like some Inception shit right there. Oh no, Willie, we are massive fans of what you're doing.
Oh, cool.
And we're so proud of the success you've had so early on. Like you won an award last year at the New Zealand Podcast Awards. You're in the finals this year for the New Zealand Radio and Podcast Awards. You're just crushing it, and you deserve it, because you're one of the nicest people we've ever met. And we're just rooting for you. We want you to succeed.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate your kind words, and thanks for coming on Fresh Money.
Fresh Money! Can we cut that bit out?
No, I like that bit. I like that bit. Staying in it, made the final cut.